Welcome back to Battle Ready. Don't miss a second of this show or any of your favorite shows on Now Media TV, streaming live or and any other channel, whenever and wherever you want. You can grab the free Now Media TV app on Roku or iOS, or you can enjoy an instant access to your online bilingual programs, both English and Spanish. And if you prefer podcasts, you can listen to Battle Ready anytime on Now Media TV at the website of www.nowmedia.tv. Now we're covering business, breaking news, lifestyles, culture, and more. Now Media TV is available 24/7, so the stories you can and see are about you and your family. Now we're back with Risha. Before we get into this, Risha, tell us again how we can get a hold of you.
All the socials. Just look for my name, Risha Grant, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, TikTok, all the same thing. You can find me there.
Okay, so we've been having some amazing conversations on the camera, but I think we've almost had better conversations off. We had to kind of catch ourselves, right? We have a lot of similarities. I played sports in school. I played in Europe, and then I was in the military. And military and sports, especially at your level, I mean, it's almost like being in the military. You got to go to practice. You got to do the workouts. You got to study. You have to, all these things. So I was telling you when I got out of the military, coming to civilian was kind of scary to me. And you said something on our last part about was knowing your people, and you said a lot of people, they struggle with that.
Yeah, they don't take the time to know their people. From your sports background, there are, like, when I coach basketball, even versus playing basketball, when I coached, I had to learn which girl I could yell at, which girl that I had to walk out on the floor and show exactly what I wanted to be done, which girl that I had to walk to the end of the bench, put my arm around them and talk softly. You have to understand the people that you're leading. If you don't take the time to understand them, you're not going to get the best out of them. Everybody's going to do what they were paid to do. But when you can go in there and speak to them in the language that they understand, it just, you see everything come together. You start creating that culture that you're dreaming about in your mind, because people actually know you care. They understand your learning style. Learning styles is something that's been out for a while in schools, but it wasn't out when I was in school. And I remember a friend who was doing her dissertation on learning styles. And so when I learned about it, and this was after I got out of college, I thought, how awesome would it have been if teachers took each student to understand the best way that they learned. And it's something that stuck with me my entire life. How can I take this employee in my company and figure out the best way for them to win? Because everybody needs to feel like they're winning, like they're contributing, like they're truly a part of the team. And I believe that's the space that the leader needs to step into, is helping them find themselves more, but also seeing what it is in them that you can continue to build upon, continue to help them develop and grow.
I know one of the other things we said was, I was telling you my wife thought when I came out here that I would get fired right away in HR because of my military mentality. But the one thing I think we did really well in the military was I had a bunch of offices, and before I drove up to the office to meet them, I would pull out my office book and I would know their spouses' names, their kids' names, their birthdays, their anniversaries. I knew if they had a dog. I mean, I knew what they like to do, and I studied that before I walked in, and I'd ask about this, that, and the other. And when I came out in the civilian world, they don't do that so much.
They don't do it.
And
I think it's a big hole. It is a huge hole. Like you have to, because you were saying earlier, I'm a hard ass, right? But you can be that when you show people you care, because it's like, I'm not worried about Rickey. I know he's this hard guy, but I also know this other side. He asked about my kid who was sick. He asked about the dog. He asked about these things. Those things matter more than anything else that you can tell them. So people are willing to do whatever they can do for you because you've already shown them that you care.
No, 100%. I remember when I used to give classes in HR, and we talked about how you talk to each other. And one of the things I used to always make sure and tell them was, you do not know what happened to that person before they took that left or that right into the parking lot.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. You could be talking to somebody on the worst day of their life.
Oh my gosh, yes. And if you don't
Yeah.
care, and they know if you care or not, right?
Right. Right. You know, there's this company my mom worked for, gosh, probably 30 years ago. But every birthday, they would send me and my sister a birthday card with $5 in it. And we thought
Really?
it was the best thing in the world. I have never forgotten this company. They don't even exist anymore. But they cared
Wow.
enough to send me, as a kid, as a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, $5. And I would, every birthday, I would get great gifts from my parents and my grandparents. But man, I was waiting on my $5 from this company, right? But it was this little bitty thing
That is,
that resonated with me from way back.
and I think that's lost. I think the second piece is, the one thing the military, I really appreciated about the military was we taught the private how to be the sergeant. We taught them the next levels. And I think out here,
Yeah.
people are scared to teach people and give people knowledge because we were talking about that earlier also, right? Share information, share everything. Why not?
Yes.
It's because
I
they
think
want, they're
people,
scared.
I think it makes leaders feel like people feel like they have to hold back in order to stay higher than someone else. And no, you pull people up. You pull them up. I try to be an open book about everything. If somebody comes and says, Risha, what do you know about entrepreneurship? I'm thinking about doing this. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly.
100%.
I'm giving it all to you.
And have you ever read the book Go Giver?
I have not. No.
You might have checked it out. So
I
I
will
like
check it
to
out. I love to read. So it's called The Go Giver.
Go Giver, and there's different
Okay.
different like Go Giver cells go, but the whole premise in my mind is you go out and like when you're networking, you always have your people. Mike, I tell everybody I'm a realtor. I have a guy. You need to make you
Yeah.
want a pool? I got a guy. You want to paint?
Yes.
I got a guy. You need this take? I got a guy, right? But the whole point is I have those guys and girls, whatever, is so that I connect people that need to know each other for their benefit that doesn't have anything to do with me.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of a lost
Exactly.
art.
Well, and I don't think it should be as hard as it is. That was one of the things when I started my company. It was so difficult to find people that would help me, And so I have no qualms about connecting people. It took me years to find my agent for my book, but I will contact him for almost anybody and say, "Hey, will you read this book and consider working with this person?" Why would I try to hold that person to myself? I know how long it took and, even the money that I spent in finding this person. But if I can help somebody else's journey be a little bit easier, that's something I want to do. He can decide if he wants to work with that person. It's not for me to make that decision.
I'm going to hold you to that because I just
Okay.
literally finished my manuscript. So,
Okay, I got somebody for you.
no, and it's amazing. I think that's the thing that I think has helped me be very successful in real estate is I don't care. I don't feel like anybody's my competition. I'm gonna know
Right.
people. You're gonna know people, and it's not in an arrogant way. It's just we know different people, right?
Exactly.
People are gonna like you.
Exactly.
People are not like you. People are like me. I'm an acquired taste. I know that, but go ahead.
Well,
What you
hey,
thought?
when I introduce you to this agent, you're gonna like him. He's a hard ass, so that'll be an interesting,
Oh, you know
interesting
what?
connection.
I've been married 30 years. My feelings are just, they're mud. I mean, I can handle anything. But, this has been totally amazing. Tell us one more time about your book. Tell me about your book.
It's called Be Better Than Your BS. And it is a book that will just help. It will help you do that. The first part of it is about the individual and how you can become more self-aware of how you present in the world. The next part of the book is for companies. So once you've developed and continue to develop yourself into the person that you want to be, the corporate culture also needs to do their job. So it's for companies and it's for individuals. It hit #2 on the Wall Street Journal. It hit number 15 on USA Today. We hit every list but the New York Times, which we were fine with because we weren't shooting for that. But it's a book that I'm very proud of, that I think is very practical. I want to make sure that I'm inspiring people, but also giving them things that they can go and do immediately. Um, so that's what it's about, and you can find it on Amazon.
Okay. So was that hard to write a book?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why? Tell me. I'm trying to write one, so tell me. Why was it hard?
Well, for one, because you actually have to sit down and do it, and you can't talk to other people. You can't, like, you have to focus in on that thing that you're writing about. And some days you're going to write a chapter, some days you're going to write one line and you're going to have to call it a win. And if you're anything like me and I'm hearing your background in sports and all that stuff, we want to win every day. So if the goal was to write two chapters and you write one line, it feels like a loss. But it's one line that you didn't have the day before. So you just have to go for it. I also think you have to find your zone with writing.
Okay.
I have to do it early in the morning. I have to get up early before my phone's going to start ringing, and I have to get that time in. If I try to do it later in the day, I'm not getting it done. My energy is not the same. I know a guy, he says, and mind you, you have to have the income to do this, but he will fly from the East Coast to the West Coast, put on headphones, and that's how he writes his books, because nobody's bothering him. He can't get calls, right? All of the things. So you have to figure out what works for you. But it's just one of the loneliest things you're ever going to do. So I have two books actually. That's my second book. So it was the processes are different. I've self-published and I was published by Hay House on the second book. So I've worked with a major publisher and I've self-published, and I have feelings about all of that. So when you get to that space, call me. I'll tell you everything
definitely
I know
talk
about both sides of it.
I think my biggest challenge is I write like I talk, and I
Yes.
just talk. It's like horrible, but it works.
Well, you have to that's where the editors are going to come in. They're going to they're going to say, Rickey, you got to redo this, or they're going to help you redo that in a way that that makes it more reader
Help me find my voice
to your audience. Yes.
Risha, this has been
Well,
incredibly.
I think you found your voice. I think it's just refining the voice for the reader.
Hey, this has been incredibly valuable. When can people follow you at work and continue with this conversation? It's been a great day with you today, and everybody, I hope you enjoyed it. Look for Risha, look for her on LinkedIn, every place else, and thank you for being battle ready.